One of the parts of the retreat this weekend that was very meaningful for me, and I find it to be very inspiring because I think it's kind of accessible, accessible as a practitioner. In the sadhana that we were doing, in the practice that we were doing, there was this one line that read something like, how protectors abide in the four immeasurables. And for me, I never really relate to the word protector, actually. This doesn't I don't ever know what to do with it. So that was kind of clarifying. It was helpful for me to think in that way and really like, wow, if you were a person of the capacity whose mind could dwell in loving kindness, compassion, like a sympathetic joy and equanimity, and your mind was dwelling in that, what a protection that would be and how beneficial you could be to other beings. And I particularly like it because it's something that we train in from the very get-go. Every day, every practice that we do, almost all of them have the four immeasurable thoughts as the foundation for them. And even we're going to do a retreat this winter, which is a highest class Tantra retreat for some of us, and I was kind of not so confident in that area. And so I was listening to teachings by Lama Zopa, and I'm trying to learn something about the sadhana, like I want to know what I'm doing here. And he spent like an hour talking about the four immeasurables. And I was kind of disappointed. And then later on, months later, I realized, oh, right, this is the whole point, And so then when I saw that line, I was even more like, yeah, the protectors, meaning like the Buddhas, and like what is a Buddha in some way? What protects you as a Buddha? And to think of that, because we can work on that, it's very accessible now in our own lives, in our own capacity to develop that, and then to think that, in the Buddhist worldview, which is, unfortunately in the early days the translations were kind of gloomy, like the world is suffering and that's all there is to the story. But the flip side of the coin is, in the world Buddhist view, our potential is that these qualities can be developed infinitely. There's no end to our capacity. And so I think for me these are the kind of things that I need to tap into, to really keep my mind joyful so I can continue to practice. So may we, in our own way, use that as a motivation for our various practices. And in some sense, if you think about it, where that is going to lead to then is this kind of bodhicitta, this wish to alleviate being suffering by becoming a Buddha. So that's kind of like the whole, everything in our Mahayana path can fall into that. So this is like the basis of it. So may we spend our time trying to cultivate these qualities